In this episode, we're talking about a graphic novel hellscape where you can be a barbarian, or how about a pirate? It's Mortal Sin. This and more on Indie Game Arcade. Welcome to Indie Game Arcade, a podcast that deep dives into the latest and greatest indie games. My name is Chris.
And I'm Joseph.
And I got through that time without choking on my spit, which you guys didn't get to hear it because I cut it out. But apparently, I can't say the word. It took you
like 3 takes to get that out.
I couldn't say the word arcade without dying. So, but I managed. I'm here and I'm ready. We're here. We're queer. Get used to it. Hey, let's talk about Mortal Sin. That seems like a segue I shouldn't have used right there.
Yeah, it's a little.
That was unfortunate. Right. That was a very unfortunate segue.
Little mistimed.
Oh man, why did you pick this one?
Game start.
Okay, yeah, let's get into this. So, Mortal Sin was originally released into early access in March of 2023. Now, finally fully available August 29th, 2025. Developed and published by Nikola Totorovic and retails for $24.99. And for a quick description, Mortal Sin is a chaotically bloody first-person roguelike set in a grim dark horror fantasy world with dithered graphic novel-style visuals, featuring procedurally generated levels, randomized quests, and over a dozen classes with varied playstyles to choose from. Hence why I was just like, you could be a barbarian or a pirate. Those are the only two I know about, so they're the only ones I brought up for my little joke. But Joseph, this is one that you've been spending much time in. So tell me all about it. I like vaguely remember, I think, when it entered early access, because like I remember the visuals of this thing, because the visual style is like extremely unique.
Yeah, so the visual style, just to touch on that for a second, is like grim dark kind of comic book-esque, but almost like what is like a comparison music-wise? Like not heavy metal, but some kind of like
a death metal?
A little bit, yeah, but it's just like really desaturated colors, like red skies, things like that, where it just looks like an interesting kind of like death metal album cover or something like that. But then like a little bit later on, they released I say they, but I think it was a solo dev. So he released like a classic coloration of it, or I guess like a realistic coloration that are more like in line with like actual colors of things that you would expect.
Yeah.
So
sure.
When you look at this, you'll see it in like 2 different styles. It defaults now to actually like you can choose when you first boot up the game, like which style you go with. I went realistic because I didn't know what I was getting myself into yet, but you can also switch back to the classic view that it originally launched as. So I've had this game since 2023, but I didn't realize it was early access, I guess, when I first purchased it. So I just never played it, but I never returned it either because I was like...
Mortal Sin. Because
that's my mortal sin, is buying things blindly. Yeah, so this is one of those examples of like, I think that it needed to cook for this long, and it was truly driven, from what I've seen, by actual feedback from the people who were playing it. So there are people who enjoy playing early access games and like seeing a game progress every step of the way. I'm not one of those people. I want to see the finished product of it.
And I am one of those people. I like early access games.
Oh,
sometimes.
Not me. I need
I know.
like a full package. If I'm gonna pay for something, I want to get like, because I've been burnt before by games that just like either never finished or the developer just like dropped it off altogether, like in a scam like fashion.
That's what I want to know. Well, who hurt you?
That's unfortunate. I don't remember specifically, but early access games, neither here nor there. In this case, though, I think this was the right way to do it because he let it be developed by the community alongside just playtest after playtest. And this was, like you said, since 2023, so about 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years of actual development on this thing. And now it's finally coming out in a 1.0 release as of tomorrow, as of this recording, which is the 29th of August. But it is basically all like baked and completed right now, the version I'm playing of it, because I just started it yesterday. And when I first launched it and tried it, I was like, oh man, this is like, what do I even do here? Like, this is a weird kind of hard where it's like, I'm not even sure how to survive. And then once I got into it, then I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it and I can appreciate it, because it is the kind of difficult where it's like, you just gotta get into the flow of it. And once you do, it's so rewarding and like crazy brutal in a way that is just so fun, especially from a first person perspective. Like, imagine like if Skyrim were just like turned up to 11 as far as like the difficulty of it goes. Like,
oh, geez.
It's basic. I mean, your weapons or whatever the class you choose, I guess, prefer to use. You start out as a guardian, I think they're called, or a gladiator maybe, and they can use, or they just prefer like basic melee weapons. And then as you move on, you can unlock things like you said, a pirate, which uses a pistol and a sword, at least a cutlass to start, but then it can get like dual pistols or things like that. And there are various weapons you unlock along the way as well. And then it goes to things like a mage, who relies more on like magical weapons, a berserker, who is more driven by, big swords, big weapons, and just like whirlwind attacks, things like that. There's a vampire class that I haven't unlocked yet. There's just all kinds of different classes in here. Once you understand how to play one class, you can pretty much play any class to some degree. Obviously, there are different scales to each one that make it kind of a unique challenge to approach. Like, the mage is one that has been really hard for me to get into, but I almost beat the game as the berserker. I was on the last section of it, and then I don't know what killed me. Something from behind got me, because even like from full health, like you can get like 1 or 2 shot if you're not careful. If you're jumping into this and you think like, I'm not going to worry about parrying or blocking, you're making a big mistake, and you're going to die quickly, because you need to do those things to live in this game. It's not a choice. You need to watch what the enemy's doing and react to that. It's pretty forgiving as far as the parry time or just the block time goes to prevent damage, but you just need to be paying attention, because it's a first person perspective. You don't know when things are behind you if you're not like aware of your surroundings. You just need to constantly be vigilant about what's going on. The combat is very momentum based in a way where, especially like if you don't have high speed, which you can get like higher, you get different items along the way. This is the roguelike aspect of it. It is like RNG stuff, but you're getting different items and different sort of like skills that can feed into those items, or different things that you're doing. Like maybe some of your attacks heal a little bit of damage, or maybe when you're hit, you heal a little bit of damage, or when you dismember, there's one that's like when you decapitate an enemy, there's a chance of him dying immediately, which sounds crazy. Like, it's like, yeah, why wouldn't he die immediately? But they don't. Like, they will just run around like headless, and sometimes other limbless. There's one of the skills that like when you cut off their legs, it will freeze, or has a chance to freeze the enemies around them or something like that. So like, it's very brutal. They will fight until like they are just completely obliterated sometimes. And this includes the larger bosses as well. Like, they will just keep going. So if you see something fall down, it doesn't mean it's just done. So just be wary. When I say momentum, I mean like sometimes your swings are very slow, depending on, like I said, your speed, especially with the barbarian and his the berserker and his giant weapon. Because if you start a swing when you're right next to somebody, by the time you finish that swing, you're probably going to get a couple hits. You're going to take a couple hits from the enemy. So that's where it's like, okay, I need to start like from back here, get my swing going, and then run in and finish it off here. There are also, and this is a part that I haven't really focused on a ton, because there are different combos that each kind of weapon can do. Your basic things are like attack, kick, charge or something, and then your special ability. Every combo is some combination of those. Like sometimes it's like kick, charge, attack, and then it will do a special thing at the end of that. there are some basic combos that you can set as your like main attack. Like you can have your main attack do auto combos, which will do the basic ones by itself if you just like hold down the attack button. I turned that off because it was hurting me more than it was helping me, because it was hard for me to judge like where my swings were going to go if it was comboing while I'm trying to like get the momentum going.
Oh, interesting.
And the more complex combos require like manual input, because those can be like 5 or 6 sort of inputs that you will need to remember. Luckily, you can put one of your combos like up at really like wherever you want on your screen. It lets you like attach the little just key to it anywhere on your screen, so you can kind of like start practicing that combo.
So you're like literally putting like what you need to press and everything, like
yeah, it'll show you what you need to press, and like as you press those things, they will like darken over on your combo meter, so it's like you know when you are processing those things. If you just wanted to practice that, so that's some way if there's a particular weapon you really like using, then you might want to just memorize some of those combos, and that's just an easy way to do it without having to go back to the menu screen every time. So I appreciate that as a quality of life thing. I don't know how long that's been in the game, but it's been super helpful in trying to learn any kind of the combos.
Right.
Yeah, so it's brutally difficult. There are different difficulty settings. I went with the medium one, and it's definitely challenging to a fun degree. I don't know how easy the easy one is, though. I can't imagine it's like that easy, but I haven't tried it, so I'm not sure.
Do they have a Chris mode where it's like really easy? Do they have a mode where I can just walk in and things die?
You could try. I don't know.
And by things, I mean not me. I want to make that clear.
It's just been like super fun. The only thing that I will say is like not even a criticism yet, but just some of the things that I've started like kind of noticing is I'm not sure how much variety this game has to it. Even with all those classes and all those weapon types, for the most part, everything kind of swings or feels about the same, even though visually it's different, and I'm sure the combos are different. I don't know how much like actual longevity this game has to it. Like, will I play it for 100 hours? Probably not. But will I continue playing it based on what I've played so far for at least like, I don't know, 10 to 20, maybe. And I've enjoyed what I have played of it so far. I just don't really know like variety wise what it has to offer, because even as I go later through the levels, and I was on the last level, it was just throwing like mini bosses I had already fought at me, along with like different enemies I had already fought at me. So that was like the last level was kind of just compiling everything back that you had already fought to fight over again, just in a larger horde of enemies. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I don't really know like what there is to offer. Let's say I do beat it and I do unlock the different things. Like, what's going to keep me playing? I'm not sure yet. But
you gotta go harder.
Do I think it's I think it's a good game? Well, yeah, true. I guess I could do that. But even then, it's like, if I'm just seeing the same thing over and over again and fighting the same things, it feels like it would get a little repetitive. But I haven't gotten there yet, so I'll say that. But I'm mainly saying that because that's what I've seen some of the criticisms on, if there were any on Steam, even though it is overwhelmingly positive reviews right now. So that might be like the minority who are saying that. And like I said, I'm not feeling it yet, but I could see that being a thing if that was something people were concerned about. I'm not sure how much variety is there. But if you just think about it from the perspective of like, I can come into this and kind of like enjoy the flow of this like crazy brutal combat, then I think you're going to have a really good time with it.
So like with the different classes and stuff, now I know you said you played the Berserker and you played a little bit of the Mage, I think you said.
I've played like 5 or 6 of the classes that I've unlocked. Yeah.
So when you were talking about how like with the weapons and stuff like that, like that doesn't feel too different. But like, is there anything about those classes that feel wildly different that you think that maybe that's where like they could expand on the variability of things? Like if they delved into, more things per class or something? Or do you think that they've baked in like as much as they can already as far as that goes?
It's really hard to say. And I know that the developer is still continuing to work on the game. Like even in the like notes for the 1.0 release that's coming up, he said like he's got some exciting news of things that are still coming. So I don't think, even though it's like hitting 1.0, I don't think it's not done being developed or being added to. So maybe this will come in the form of just like DLC or something. But either way, it's a really enjoyable experience from what I have played. And there's enough variety between the classes. I would say the thing that differentiates them most is like the types of weapons you can pick up, even if those aren't like vastly different. One that I got, and maybe it's just I haven't unlocked like the really crazy ones yet, but one that I did unlock that I was like, wow, this does feel way different, was when I was the pirate earlier today, and I just found a actual, like, I was using two just little muskets, and then I found a actual cannon, and I was like, is that like a real cannon? And so I pick it up, and then like I'm holding this giant cannon, and it is so slow to fire, but when it hits something, it just obliterates it. And I'm like, okay, this is the kind of like variety I was kind of looking for. So I'm hoping that continues with some of the other classes, and I can find some just really unique sort of weapons or upgrades that allow me to feel just like that each run is vastly different from the next.
One thing I want to bring up too, just because, you know, we were talking about how, like, you know, it is a pretty violent game, but like, I don't think we touched on just how bloody this thing is, because I'm watching some visuals here and it's like, these guys are exploding. It's like dead alive, like brain dead levels of like blood shooting everywhere when someone gets hit. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's like once you start getting into it, you won't really notice anymore all the explosions. You're just going to be grateful that you're still alive.
Yeah.
And covered in blood or not, you're just like, all right, at least I survived this encounter.
Right. Oh, man.
But what is really great about it is once you kind of figure out the flow of things, you're like, okay, I've countered this guy. Now I can swing. I can go all out. I got this skill at one point that was like with the berserker, that was like when I'm doing a whirlwind attack, which is like if you do a charge attack, you will charge up and do a whirlwind attack as a berserker at least. And as a lot of the other classes too, you do some kind of spin attack. And it was like when you're, I think it was called Berserker Rage, like when you're doing a whirlwind attack, you are invulnerable. So I was like, I'm just going to like lean on this a lot. But the caveat to it was like that attack charges up so slow that I can get hit out of it while I'm trying to charge it up. So that was a good way to counter me just being invincible all the time and spinning around.
That's crazy. Oh, man. This game's nuts, dude.
I wanted you to try it at least.
Oh,
like, please just try it.
Okay,
I just want to hear your thoughts.
I will try it, and then I'll probably die within the first 2 seconds, but...
Well, I died within the first 2 seconds also until
well, then I won't feel bad.
Until I figured it out. Like, once you figure it, I want you to like give it a few runs, like 3 or 4 runs at least. The first few won't take very long, I promise you. But then once you're like, okay, I'm kind of figuring it out, you'll start to get into it. I hope.
I'll give it the good old college try. One thing that like I do really like and has me kind of excited about this is the fact that it does have so many like color options and stuff, because you know I'm a big colors guy. And it looks like, from what I can see, there's over like 24 different color schemes you can change within the game. Like you were already talking about, there's like the realistic thing too, but everything else just totally changes like how this game looks. And like some of them are just so cool looking. Like I was trying to put my finger on some of the aesthetic, and like some of them kind of remind me of like, if you think of like I'm going to go old punk on this. If you think of like a really old, like Rancid or Distillers album or something, where it's like a photo, but it's been like, if you know any Photoshop terms or something like that, like a really saturated, like hard light filter or something over it, where like, you know, the blacks are just super washed out black, like super crushed. And then everything is just really, really saturated with that color, and it takes a lot of the details out and stuff. But it just looks really cool. there's a lot like that. And I love that kind of look. So I am very excited to kind of mess around with that and like see just like all the different things that you can do like in this game, like visually, and just like basically just play through this freaking, I don't know, like black metalcore nightmare of a game. I'm excited to try that.
It's like it's a big
shark dude
or progressive metal kind of, I guess. Like as far as like the albums go, music wise, it's hard for me to even say because like I'm so like zoned in that I don't really hear the music as much. But that also feels like appropriate, at least for what I'm doing. It doesn't feel like so heavy that it's distracting though.
Yeah, you know, there's like a random image that just for whatever reason, it gave me like some Static Lullaby vibes, like so some like metalcore kind of stuff. So very cool. Yeah, I just like visually, I'm in love with this thing already. So
visually, that's probably why I purchased it 2 years ago. Was like this. I love the way this thing looks. It used to have a different cover art too. I don't know like
more cartoonish.
What they did with that one.
You can still find it if you just look up the soundtrack. It still has that as the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack does still have it. But yeah, like that was maybe too cartoonish for what they were going for initially, but it also kind of matched like the vibe of like the initial palette that it comes in.
Right.
The way that they're showing it now feels more, even though the art's really good on it, it does feel like it would be harder for this thing to stand out than if they had just stuck with the original art, just because of the sharp contrast to those colors. I know that's what drew me in initially.
Yeah, I like the original much better. I think that's way more appealing. That's what I remember from the early access. So like when I went to research this to get like notes and stuff, like I thought at first I was on the wrong game because I was like, that doesn't look right. I don't remember this.
I'm looking at the soundtrack art now. It's like, yeah, this is definitely what drew me in initially. It's like nothing too complex, but I just love the simplicity of it and like the just the flat colors, but just the nice contrast of those. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, like to your point, they do have a lot of themes in there you can switch between palette wise. I just went with the realistic one because that's what it defaulted to. But you can choose all kinds of different ones and maybe just have a completely different experience depending on what you pick.
Absolutely. There's a couple bundles with it too. There's one bundle for about $40. It comes with Sulfur, and then there's another bundle for a little over $40. It comes with Voin. Haven't played either of those, but I've seen Sulfur before, and I always thought Sulfur looked really good. It's a FPS shooter, roguelike, but that one's an early access too, I think. Yes,
so is Voin, which is an action roguelike as well.
Nice.
But it does look cool and looks kind of along the same lines as far as like first person combat goes anyway.
Yeah. Now that we're like looking at it though, like Sulfur, I think I want to add this to my wish list because Sulfur looks pretty good, honestly.
Oh, that looks neat. Yeah. I had never seen this one. It's got like a Diablo type inventory system. Or no, it doesn't. That's just blocks. I thought it was. Wait, no, it does kind of.
No, it does.
It's got
that is the
size thing
inventory.
To it.
Yeah. But FPS and like I just like the art style of that too. Like it's kind of like cute.
Oh, I like the attacking, the melee attacking to it because it does look very reactionary. Like you have to block and parry on time.
Heck yeah.
Timing in games is huge for me.
Yes.
Like that's so satisfying.
I love that. That's why I love JRPGs that include timed hits and stuff because I feel like I have way more agency.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Power up!
Hey, if you're enjoying this episode so far, do us a favor and throw us a like, a follow, share the episode or the podcast with folks who love indie games so we can get more of these game recommendations out there and support indie game devs. We also have our YouTube channel at youtube.com/nerdsloth where you can catch us playing more indie games or check out our top 5 and top 10 series for even more indie game recommendations because we believe there's an indie game out there for everyone.
Combo!
Let's talk about some other indie games we've been playing this week. Joseph, I played a lot of games this week. I don't know how I did it, but I did. I've got 2 indie games I'm going to bring up for you, buddy. How do you feel about pulling off some sick kickflips and front slide 180s, but in a game that looks closer to Tears of the Kingdom than Tony Hawk's Pro Skater?
Good. I don't know. Is that really what it's like?
It totally is. Let me tell you about Sword of the Sea. So, Sword of the Sea is this beautiful cel-shaded game where you're like in this desert world. You're riding your sword, just shredding those sand dunes like you were born for it, collecting ocean seeds, restoring water to this dried up world so the whales and fish can swoop back in and have a place to chill. And there is a story to this, I promise. But like one thing I really do enjoy about this is there's like no dialogue. Like you can find like tablets and other things like poems and stuff that'll give you a little bit of explanation to the world. There's no talking whatsoever. It reminded me a little bit of like Primal, like that cartoon that we talked about in our other podcast a long time ago, where it just tells this great story with no dialogue. It's kind of like that. I didn't get to play too much of this, probably 30 minutes or so, but it was so fun. It's mainly about movement and momentum and just the huge sense of exploration and scale. There's like this giant sprawling architecture stuff reaching out of the world and these ruins that you're navigating at high speeds. You can do tricks, like no joke. There's like parts where you're literally just doing like some Tony Hawk pro skater shit on your hover sword in this sandy desert world. And it's great.
On like a half pipe or something?
Dude, there is definitely a half pipe.
Wow. Okay.
It doesn't sound like this should work, but it works in the context of this game and this world. And like, this isn't like a joke game. This isn't like a comedy thing. Like, this is like a very beautiful, sprawling kind of world. And it just looks really epic. And as silly as all of this sounds, it honestly all fits together in this really weird way. Like I don't know. It just does not feel as out of place as it kind of sounds like it should. But yeah, you can do like tricks and stuff. You earn this like currency that's called Tetra that you can collect to unlock new tricks and upgrades and things.
What is the purpose of the tricks, I guess? Are they like getting you any of the like currency or points or anything?
So for one, there is a spot in the menu that is like keeping a score for you, which is just, that's just fun.
Okay.
But some of the tricks you have to like pull off to be able to reach like other areas in the environment and stuff. Cause there's a lot of like platforming kind of stuff within this world while you're still doing, the really rapid movement. Almost think of like how when we played Haste, how you're kind of moving really fast through things. Still, every once in a while, there's like things you need to kind of platform through a little bit. So it's kind of like that in a way. And sometimes you need to be able to pull off like certain dives or holds and things to get to the things that you need to, or to solve like certain environmental puzzles to unlock like these big doors to get through like other areas, different things like that. But like the big takeaway from this is it feels good to play. It's extremely smooth. The music is so epic. It feels like a dream in a way where you're just shooting across this world with these beautiful colors. You got freaking orcas flying over the top of you. You got to experience it.
Visually, it just looks amazing. And I'm intrigued by the fact that there's a giant sword in this game that isn't being used for combat at all. That's
never.
Literally
It'll never be used for combat. Not once.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You're never going to hit anyone with that sword. Never. It is only for shredding the dunes, my bro. That's it.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, this was from Giant Squid, who also did like Abzu and The Pathless and Journey. And the lead developer here at Giant Squid was also like the lead art director at that game company. That is their name, I promise. And he worked on Flower, which like if you're familiar with any of those games I just named, like you see it and you feel it here. Like this feels like it feels like a natural progression from Journey, but you see a lot of the influence from Flower in this as well. So yeah, it feels very connected to both of those games in that way. Released on the 19th of August for PC and PlayStation 5, which is what I got to play it on for a very short period of time. The caveat here is it's a short game. It's like 2 to 4 hours. And for that short amount of time, it is a hefty price point at $29.99. But this is an otherworldly experience. It's super polished. Like, this is like think of it like this. You can go to like a hole in the wall place and get a good cheeseburger, right? And it's like, yeah. Like, I like a good cheeseburger in a dive place, man. There's some good ones. But this is like, you go to that slightly upscale, like maybe somewhat hipster dive place, and then you're paying for like the cheeseburger where like every ingredient has been like hand selected and made to perfection and assembled to perfection and curated especially for you. And it definitely costs quite a bit more, especially if you want fries. Okay. So
you're just saying this is like a fancy cheeseburger.
This is the fancy cheeseburger of indie games, Joseph. So okay. that's how we're gonna sell people on this game. Sword of the Sea, the fancy cheeseburger of indie games. There you go.
I'll need to see that on their review page.
I'll put it on
just like
there.
A little blurb.
Yeah, a little blurb. Speaking of fancy cheeseburgers. There's one more game that I wanted to talk about real quick. This is called The Supper New Blood. And I'm just now realizing in my notes I wrote The Super.
Oh.
Anyway, this is a weird one. I've got a really weird thing to tell you about here. So, like, imagine throwing the pop culture serial killer stylings of Dexter, Hannibal Lecter, and Norman Bates all into the body of one very timid and slightly dim-witted little guy named Stewie who's running a cheap motel. And he's very tired of getting bullied all the time. So he creates a process for interrogating the customers at his motel. And if he judges them guilty, he kills them and he turns them into food. And that's what this game, The Supper New Blood, is all about. It's a point-and-click adventure where there's some very definite homage in design and the animation style to Day of the Tentacle from LucasArts way back in the day. I honestly think if you literally take the opening scene of Day of the Tentacle and stack it right next to a shot of the motel and house from this game, it's going to look very, very similar. Like, I mean, exact same spots, same kind of silhouettes, like same ratio as far as like where things are positioned. Like it's almost 1-to-1. Anyway, you are collecting items to progress through the narrative. You talk to customers, decide who lives, who dies, and you make recipes with their body parts under the tutelage of this kind of like effigy in a wheelchair that Stewie thinks is his deceased aunt, and he thinks is also talking to him, and he like argues with her and turns on the TV. Very Norman Batesy here. It's really silly and also really gory. The visuals and animation of this one are really well done. I love the art design of this. I love the character design. The animation is great. Like it really does feel like a LucasArts game that went horror. That's 100% what I felt when I started playing this game. However, like the criticism I have, especially as a point and click fan, is the gameplay and the writing just wasn't completely there for me. Like they're just, especially in the first like 30 minutes of this game, I felt like there just wasn't enough for me to do because there's a lot of cutscenes. And with that too, the dialogue just felt very heavy-handed. Like in this game where you're like, okay, who lives, who dies? Are they evil? Are they not? The like very first guy you meet is this guy that talks about how he shoots animals for fun and he ran over multiple people in his car on the way to the motel. And I'm like, well,
so you got to eat that guy.
Yeah. So that we know what's up with him. Like, to be fair though, like, you know, it does really reflect that sort of over the top 70s schlock era of horror and in early 80s. Cause I mean, like you think about movies like, Street Trash or Toxic Avenger. And it's like, you know, that's how all the like really mean evil people talked. They were just really over the top, like absurdly evil and those kind of things. And that's just kind of how it felt here as well. But it's like those were trying to be like sort of like bad on purpose. And I'm not quite sure what the intention here was. But one thing I do know is that this was developed by this guy, Octavi Navarro, who fronts this indie studio, White Blankets Games, and he's done a lot of short horror games like this that have earned him a lot of praise. So my guess is that was like an intentional choice. And I think this is his longest game, coming in at about 3 hours from what I see so far. Retails for $9.99. You can also get it in a bundle with all of his games for under $50. And like, there's quite a few games. I want to say like maybe 6, somewhere between 6 to 8. I didn't do a full count, but yeah, there's some really interesting stuff here. It just wasn't one completely for me, but I really do appreciate like the homage that I'm seeing here for sure, because like right away I clocked this as a Day of the Tentacle homage in so many ways.
It seems like there was a original Supper game in 2020. I guess this one's more of a spiritual successor than an actual like sequel or anything, though. I don't think it's related.
Yeah, I don't 100% know for sure. Like, again, this being the very first game I've played from this dev, like I know that like in the sort of like origin story for this guy Stewie, they kind of talk about his aunt and how his aunt used to like kill and cook people. So I don't know if maybe she had something to do in that first game, or if that's just a complete aside and it's just giving
maybe
reason for this. I don't know. But either way, the story's interesting and everything, and like there's a lot of fun stuff to it. So I do think like even though it's not my bread and butter, it's obviously other people's bread and butter. So I wanted to bring it up.
All right. Well, I don't know that it will get me to play a point and click adventure one way or another.
Though, one of these days,
man.
I'm going to get you.
That's tough sell. Let's see how you feel about Mortal Sin, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
So quick peek update, because I promised to give those.
The weekly updates.
The weekly update, I finally got the 24 karat badge, which is
oh my God,
a challenging one to get because the odds of that actual cavern that you have to go into, or the little like underground temple, is like you have a 25% chance of getting that basically. And that's assuming that the mesa even spawns, because there's a chance that the ice level, the glacier one, will spawn instead every day. Okay. And so if you don't get the mesa that day, then you just don't have a chance of getting a 24 karat badge. And even if you do get the mesa, it doesn't mean you're going to find the pit in every single mesa map. So it's like, all right, well, we just stumbled across it. Callie and I did. And like a couple nights ago, and we're like, oh my God, is this it? This big hole in the ground? So we dived down there and like weaved through all these tunnels. And once you get down there, it's like kind of hard to get from one side of the temple to the other. And then even once you do that, the item that you have to pick up, which is like a golden bing bong, it's an idol. It's so heavy that getting out is a whole nother challenge. But luckily we had a lot of balloons on us just by chance. Nice. And so what a balloon does when you're carrying it is it like lightens the weight on you. So we were able to kind of get it out. But yeah, not only that, you have to take it, you have to get it out and take it all the way to the kiln, which is the volcano, the last level, and then throw it into the lava. Throw that idol into the kiln.
They're doing like a Lord of the Rings thing where they're like, throw it into the fire.
Like a combination of Lord of the Rings and Indiana Jones, essentially.
That's amazing.
And so it's like getting it was hard enough, finding it was hard enough, getting it was another challenge, and then carrying it all the way to the kiln, that heavy thing. If we didn't have those balloons, I don't know how we would have done it. So yeah, we got it. Very grateful for that. And we got a cool, what did we get from that one? I think a cool Bing Bong hat out of it. And I also got a crown because I got all the like original badges. I don't have all the Mesa ones yet, but I got a cool like golden crown because I got all the badges from the original game or the initial game. So yeah, that's my peak update. That's where I am
my
now.
liege. Are you going to try to get the, I know I found out there's one where, again, I have not really played since we played, so I'm so behind. But like I saw that there's a badge or something you can get where like, if you get enough balloons, you'll like float away or something.
Yeah, you have to get 6 balloons.
Oh my God.
I just haven't wandered across 6 balloons at once yet, but I know what I need to do. Tough. I just haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll get me the astronaut suit, and that'll be really cool cool. And these
That's
aren't like
cool.
spoiler things because it tells you like what you need to get a badge.
Yeah.
Usually, at least like in so many words, if not
Yeah.
exactly what you need to do.
I mean, you're a scout. The scouts know, like, you get your little things telling you how
You know what
to
you
earn
gotta do to
badges.
get your badges.
Yeah. You got badges back in the day, right?
Sure.
Were you a scout?
Yeah. No, I wasn't.
Oh, I was for a little bit.
Oh.
Not for
Yeah,
long.
I didn't do a lot of school or other extracurricular activities. I played video games and watched cartoons.
Yeah, that
and
was
read
the better
comic books,
life.
And I drew stuff. Yeah.
Trust, that's better.
Aside from that, I played Rusty Rangers some more. I finally beat a run of that. That's still really entertaining. Like side-scrolling 2D action roguelike. Action roguelike. I guess it's a Metroidvania. Also,
Yeah.
that's what it's labeled.
This is your
but
other
it's-
weekly update.
Yeah, that one's still really cool. Still kind of chugging through it. I finally unlocked all the characters. I haven't played as them all yet because they were kind of unlocked on the run that I beat like along the way. One of them was some kind of like I guess plasma looking guy that the professor had been building up over the course of like the time we'd been playing this. And then the other is some like ninja girl. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm curious to try them out, but I have no idea what they play like.
Yeah.
So that's still a really fun game. Inkshade, I've gotten a little further in that. I beat the one of the 3 sections to get like one of the parts for, I think it's an airship or something, whatever the guy tells you, like you're finding parts for.
Yes.
So I have one of those parts now. I've got a pretty decent like little army of dudes, but like I still haven't unlocked all the dudes you can yet. And there's still so much of this game that I have no idea. I've not spoiled any of it for myself. I have no idea like what the overall thing is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to be fooled like I was with Inscription or whatever. So I'm still enjoying the ride and just seeing what happens.
Yeah, that's the way to do it with a game like that. Just like don't get anything spoiled. Experience it for yourself. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
100%.
Final round.
Let's talk about some upcoming indie games we're excited about. I just purchased Rise of the Golden Idol, Age of Restraint. It's the newest DLC, might be the final DLC for this one. I'm not entirely sure. It did release in July on the 15th, but just now got it. Really excited to play it. Love that series. I've been trying to play everything that they put out because I'm obsessed. It's a problem. It's becoming a problem. But here's one that I really wanted to bring up, Gloomy Eyes. This is a 2D puzzle platformer where you switch between 2 different characters. And this 100% looks like a straight up stop motion Tim Burton film. And I mean that in the biggest of compliments. This game is absolutely gorgeous in its gothic charm. This is one of my favorite aesthetics to see in any kind of media. I need it right now, but I guess I'm okay waiting until September 12th when it releases because that's not that far away. I'm so excited for this. It looks so good, man.
Does it? Okay, I see what it's saying now. It says a cozy horror self-coop, but it means like self-co-op. Yeah, but I guess they didn't want to have 2 dashes in there. Anyway, I just didn't understand what it was saying at first, and I looked down and was like, oh, okay, it's only single player. That's what they mean.
Yeah.
It's a self-coop.
Man, it looks so cool.
Yeah, it looks neat. I like the visuals for sure.
Beautiful.
Demo's out right now.
Yeah, I know. I definitely got to get my hands on that demo and play it. This, from what I understand, it was originally a VR short film before they made a game with it. So I haven't watched it all. I just found out about this 2 days ago. And so then just today, I looked up some info on the short film and I saw that somebody has it on YouTube. And I only watched maybe the first couple minutes of it. But my God, it absolutely feels like a Burton thing or kind of like a mix between that and a little bit of
Paranorman even.
Yeah, it looks so good. Yeah, I'm going to watch that. I'm excited for this game. It's probably one of the ones I'm really the most excited about for this coming fall season because we're getting into spooky-ish time. And this is a perfect one for that kind of season.
Yeah. I wonder what else. I mean, the other one that I know about coming out is Bad Cheese as far as horror games go, whatever that's going to be. I wanted to bring up, and I know we've talked about it before, but I just remembered it was coming out and I saw that it was coming out today, the day we were recording in a couple hours, which is the new Shinobi game.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to Art of Vengeance. That's what the subtitle of it is. So new Shinobi game looks awesome. Made by or developed by Lizard Cube, the people who developed Street Rage 4, and also the Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap, I think it was.
Yeah,
is that what
Dragon's
that
Trap.
game was called?
Yeah.
And that just the visuals of this look amazing. Like we said, Year of the Ninja. I just finished playing the Ninja Gaiden game, the new Ragebound, and so like this is a perfect follow-up for me. I'm glad it's coming out so soon. I'll probably have more on that very soon, but I'm definitely going to be picking it up. Super excited about that one.
I feel like we were like starting to get into like almost like a video game Zodiac kind of thing going on. Like right now we're in the Year of the Ninja. So I'm interested to see what next year is going to be, you know?
What were we talking about last time? It was the Year of the something else. Also,
no, I don't got it.
Because
My
you were
brain's
like,
dead.
it was the Year of the Ninja, and now it's the Year of the something.
It's the Year of the
Somebody will
somethings. That's for sure. You know what's dumb is I just edited that podcast like 2 days ago, and like my brain is completely done with it. So
Figured if anybody would know, it'd be you.
no, man, like my brain needs, I need room in there because there's not a lot. So I gotta like, once I start like, I finish one thing, 100% that leaves my mind and it starts filling with something else. So I have no idea. What did we talk about last week? I have no idea.
I wish you didn't delete the notes every week because now I have no way of knowing.
Yeah, I did. There's notes in the like show notes and everything on each episode. So that's there.
Okay.
So people can go back. You can look. Let us know what we talked about last week, because hell if I know.
It's hard, man. When you're playing so many games, it gets all jumbled.
Plus, we're old now. We're 40. So that's my excuse.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
Game over.
If you had a good time listening to this episode, stick around for the bumper to learn how you can help support the show and all the things we do here at Nerd Sloth Creative. You can also check the show notes for our link tree, which will take you to our social media, Discord, subreddit, merch store, and tons of other cool stuff. But get in touch with us and let us know what indie games you're playing and help us elevate these games so we can help support indie game devs. But that's game over for us. My name's Chris.
I'm Joseph.
And we'll continue on the next episode.
Continue.
Indie Game Arcade is recorded and produced by Nerd Sloth Creative. If you're looking for more gaming content, head over to youtube.com/nerdsloth for indie game let's plays and recommendations. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/nerdsloth, where you can select a pledge and receive access to hundreds of hours of bonus content from everything at Nerd Sloth Creative. If you're an indie game developer and would like us to review your game or explore other opportunities, send an email to nerdslothcreative@gmail.com with the subject line Indie Game Arcade. Thanks for listening, and keep supporting indie game devs.